Welcome to our house. This is the Screenplay Podcast. I'm your host, Evan Grennis, and with me, as always, PGA Tour champion, Andrew Novak.
Yo, what's up? Golf season is officially over. We are on to football season. We got 2 more weeks to get through, but man, it's coming.
Don't forget to check us out on YouTube at Screenplay_podcast. Like, subscribe. We're on socials at Screenplay_podcast. New episodes weekly, 8 a.m. Wednesdays, wherever you listen to podcasts. This is a very special episode because today we have our first ever Screenplay Podcast guest, Jason Shulruff, NFL content creator. If y'all are listening to this podcast right now and y'all don't know who he is, pull your car over, whatever you're doing. Stop what you're doing. Get up Instagram. Go at underscore MICKJASON underscore Mick Jason. This guy's got the funniest NFL content out there that I've seen right now. Literally, when I pull up his Instagram page, I can't stop scrolling through it. So, Jason, we got you with us. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you guys for having me. I'm stoked to be on.
Speaking of your Instagram page, I got to get this figured out. So I went back to the, I did some scrolling. I scrolled down to the bottom of your Instagram page, and it seemed like April 13th. You just had like a normal Instagram. Everything was good. Posted normal pictures. And then May 17th, NFL content. What happened? Just one video that took off, or was this planned?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I've been making content for about 4 or 5 years, and just kind of general stuff. And it's just a hobby. It's fun. And a couple months ago, I decided to get back into it, and I always had a lot of fun with sports content, and football is just my favorite sport. So I made a video. Well, I started just making a bunch of like slideshow videos that were just, things that I thought were funny. And then the NFL draft this year came up, and I kind of just really took a shot at the Saints. And I apologize to any Saints fans out there, not that they care, but the video really took off, just talking about, some of the stupid things their front office has done, and it really resonated with people, including Saints fans. And um, I think those are the best fans who are very critical of the team that they like and the people who are in charge. So I just started doing those videos, and as I started doing them, I had more ideas, and I kind of just stuck with it. And then I was only really posting to TikTok, and then I thought, a lot of my friends don't have TikTok, and they wanted to see them, so I'd
Yeah,
post
the
them on
social media
Instagram.
world is weird. There's so many platforms, and it's hard to keep track
Right.
of all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, no, totally. And they were very adamant about not downloading it, which I totally get. So I started posting them on Instagram, and other people started to like it there. So I that's kind of why there's some pictures at the bottom, and then all of a sudden there's posts because I wanted to share with people who didn't have it on or didn't have a TikTok. That's kind of yeah, that's the story.
To our
So
list, Andrew, go for it.
I was just gonna say, so do you kind of write your own content? Is this all your ideas, or you got a group chat with the boys and they're sending you stuff every once in a while? Like, how do ideas for videos come about?
Totally. So I mean, yeah, they're predominantly my ideas for the most part.
Mm.
I absolutely have friends who send me stuff all the time, and it's always encouraged. And you know, the fun stuff about that is the ideas that I get from my friends are always just like more fun to do because we're laughing about it together, and they have an idea, then I have a spin on it, and it's just I don't know. Those are fun videos to do. So I mean, it's mostly me. Um, but I do get some help from my
Nice.
homies for sure.
Yeah, no, this is, I feel like it's resonating with everyone because when I watch one of your videos, like, I can't stop. I just got to go to the next one. In my head, I call this like the ultimate toilet content. Like, my girlfriend from the other room can be like, "Are you watching his videos again?" Like, I'll be in there for like 15 minutes just scrolling through these. You kind of have a lot of characters at this point. My probably favorite is your Packers character.
Yeah,
What character is your favorite one to do? Um, I mean, you're coming up with a new one weekly, it seems.
yeah. Thank you. You know, a little note on that. I have started to get noticed a little bit in public. Well, also because I think a good amount of people are Chicago. fans and people in Chicago, and I live in Chicago. I left Jewel, our grocery store, the other day. I was walking back to my apartment, and I hear just this guy go, "You the Goblin?" And I pick my head up, and I was like, "What?" And oh. Yes. And he just like laughed and kept walking. I was like, what the hell? It was super funny. I didn't know how to respond in the moment, but shout out to that guy. That was very funny. Do I have a favorite character? I mean, a lot of people tell me the Goblin's their favorite. I get people asking me on Cameo to do cameos as him. Packers fans love the Goblin, except for a small percentage of them.
The 10%. That's a funny
Right,
video. I
yeah.
mean,
I
it's
think
just
that's even, I think it's a lot. I swear, I'm not trying to be gentle. Like, most of them really think it's funny, and they're like, yeah, this is what it's like when I go home for like Thanksgiving and I'm with my extended family. I like him, and I like the smelliest guy at your fantasy draft, who just like is there to be smug, and he's like that guy that you lost someone who was in the league for like 5 years, or he didn't want to be in the league again, and you know, you just picked up this guy, and all of a sudden he's like, he just is talking all this shit. I like him. He's kind of
Every
me,
league
but
has one. Every league has
yeah,
one. It's very
every league has
relatable.
one, and that's the thing. You know, it's like I started just a lot of these videos. You know, with like sorry, I got distracted. These videos with like some Star Wars themes or like Elden Ring themes. It's just dude stuff. It's just like
it
stuff that
is.
like
Yeah.
every guy likes. So I think that's, I guess, why people resonate with it.
I find it so funny personally because yeah, it's comedy, but it's really not comedy. Like you're saying 90% truth. Like when you're doing Jerry Jones like impersonations and you're calling him like, yeah, we're going to sign mitochondria. Like it's not that far off from the truth of what he's actually
Right.
like. So, I mean, that's personally why I find it so funny. But yeah, from the limitless pill to the
Yeah.
Steelers is all-time stuff. Like if you're not with us at 10-7, don't be with us at 10-7. Like it's
Uh-huh.
just it's all-time stuff. Andrew, you got any other comments on this NFL
So
content?
so do you take in other NFL sort of content? Do you see a lot of the other videos that come up?
Like, do I see content that are similar to what I do?
Yeah, like have you seen the Cowboys the girlfriend asking her boyfriend about it snowed in Alaska 30 years in a row. Would you bet on it to snow again this year? And he's the
Oh,
Cowboys fan about thinking he's making the Super Bowl.
I don't think I saw that one. I saw one of a girlfriend who is like, I think I'm thinking about buying us a VHS player. And he was like, why on earth would you want a VHS? He's like, it's so dated. She goes, well, yeah, I know your favorite movies are on VHS. He goes, anything that I want to watch is going to be on, I can just stream it. She goes, well, I mean, the last Cowboys Super Bowl was probably on VHS, and he crashes out really hard. So I saw something like that. I don't think I saw that one,
So
but like,
so with that video in mind, then Caleb Williams over under 3,999 yards and a half.
I think I think under by a half a yard. I think he's gonna get comments on that so many times. I actually I think, and you can call me a crazy delusional Bears fan. I think he's gonna do it this year. I think we'll finally
Uh,
break the curse.
17
Um,
games, Ben Johnson. Yeah.
yeah, it's like totally. Am I gonna shamelessly accept that it's a 17 game season? Of course I am. And last year, you know, he had the most scrimmage yards I think ever for a quarterback in Bears history. I could be wrong about that, but you know, I think, as crazy and delusional as it sounds, I think he's gonna eclipse 4,000 this year passing.
The 1985 Bears. I feel like the rest of the country, it's like a joke. We just say it, but in Chicago, like, how much do you guys really still live on that? Because I can't imagine. Were you alive during 1985?
No, no, I wasn't. That was a couple years before me.
Yeah, I mean, we're all joking about it, the rest of the country, but in Chicago, is that really what y'all still live off of there?
No, it's fun to say it because we all take sort of comfort in our suffering, and it's easy to just kind of dog on yourself and the people around you who share those same desires. No, you're never gonna, at least for me, I never hear someone retaliate with 1985 in a non-sarcastic way. Um, But I mean, the aesthetic of like Ditka with the Bears vest, with the cigar in his mouth, and the glasses, and the mustache, and the haircut. The aesthetic, I think people really love, and it's classic and it's fun. Um, but if I ever catch a Bears fan using 1985 as an actual rebuttal, I would just I don't know. Don't take that guy seriously. It's not worth it. It's not worth you getting angry over.
Okay,
That's all I gotta say.
I got another Bears question here. So when the season inevitably goes 9-8 this year and then 9-8 next year,
Yeah.
who are y'all going to side with, Ben Johnson or Caleb Williams?
Um, you know, it's a great, horrible
At this
question.
point in time, like what's the feeling?
So at this point, I mean, it's unfortunately, it's optimism and excitement. And you don't have to take my word for it, but I like last year I wasn't optimistic at all. I believed in Caleb. I still do. I think despite whatever anyone thinks, I think he showed a lot of potential, really raw talent, the willingness to work. I was not optimistic about last year. I knew it was going to be tough, and I wanted to like Eberflus. And the thing about Eberflus, everyone says, great guy in the locker room. All the players liked him. Unfortunately, that doesn't really matter if you're a great guy. I bet he'd be a great homie. I'd love to go to a barbecue with him. I don't want him coaching my football team. Um, so I was still optimistic on Flus, but like it's just because I kind of I had no choice, and it was happening, and
I can feel the pain in your face, like when you're saying that. You're like, oh, like
yeah.
I can just feel it. Like for those of you listening on the podcast, like it's really like you can just see it in his face. He's like, I really did want to like him, but
Uh,
ugh.
when the Hard Knocks came out and the first episode, he's rocking like he's got this, white gray beard. I'm like, you look better. You don't look like a dork anymore. And it was kind of like, I was like, now I'm like, fired up. We extended DJ, and then it was just like as painful as a season as it could have been. Um, the blocked field goal for the Packers, that Lions game where we just don't call timeout. Like it's just
I'm
I
sorry. I'm sorry.
it's like I don't claim to know anything that or be better than anyone who plays or coaches in the NFL by any means. I could have won us that game. I could have at least been like, I could have done them for the people listening. I could have done this timeout motion with 30 seconds left and been like, okay, let's think about this for 2 seconds. Um, I kind of went off on a tangent there, but
No, we love it.
um,
It's
you
great.
know, going back to what you were saying, like, what's the feeling right now? It's optimism and it's exciting. Um, like Eberflus, and I hate to keep dogging on him, but like he was like a defensive coordinator for the Colts, which we later found out they were like I think they were like planning on releasing him anyway. And I didn't know who he was until we hired him. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was like, who did we hire? Ben Johnson has produced like a top three offense 3 years in a row, and he's been the most coveted head coach candidate in that time span. And we got him, and the it looks different, it feels different. Like I'm on the field practicing with him. So it's optimism to put it
Yeah, I mean,
plainly.
in general, it's August. 31 teams are optimistic right now. Then you have the
Right.
Saints, but 31
Yeah.
teams are optimistic.
I just made a Saints video. I really apologize to all Saints fans and
No, I
and
saw
to
that video. It's
Tyler
great
Shock.
timing. I mean, I saw like the news came out, and then literally you had a video out maybe 30 minutes later. I was like, that's impressive.
Yeah, I was home and the news broke, and if I have the time, I'm not super busy. I'll make the video. But it comes around. But that was just a good opportune time. And I had a 30-minute window I could make the video.
All right, Jason, last question here. NFC North final predictions. What do you got?
Oh
Let's hear it one through
God.
four.
I mean, the Bears are gonna win.
Okay.
The Bears will go 17-0, and then the Vikings will go 10-7. They'll go no, they'll go 10, yeah, they'll go 10-7. The Lions will go 10-7, and the Packers will go 9-8.
Ooh, Packers fourth in the division at 9-8.
I can't wait for this to get clipped and to be shown to me in December. That's the prediction.
I love it, Andrew.
No losing records.
Yeah, yeah. No, no, no.
That'll
Of
be
course not.
perfect because the other division we're doing is going to be the NFC South, and there will be no winning records in that division.
Right, of
It'll
course.
work
Oh, by the way,
perfectly.
the alternative to 17-0, I think, is 4 and what would it be? 13 for the
Yeah,
Bears.
It's like, yeah,
perfect.
one or the other.
Well, it's one or the other. There's no in between. There's no gray area.
Well, we appreciate you coming on the podcast, talking your content, talking Caleb Williams, Ben Johnson, the Bears. We wish you a lot of luck moving forward with your content. It's great stuff. Soon enough, like that's all you're going to be doing, dude, for your job. I mean, it's so freaking funny. I can't tell you enough. And I think everyone out there listening thinks it's just as funny as I do.
I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for having me on, and it's been a pleasure.
All right, back to our regular scheduled programming. That was Jason Shulruff, NFL content creator. Go check his Instagram out. Go check his socials out at _ MICKJASON. That was our first ever screenplay podcast guest. Pretty awesome. We're gonna be sprinkling in some of those throughout the season. What do you think of Jason? Pretty funny.
It's great,
guy.
man. He really does kind of epitomize the just the positivity that teams are feeling this time of year. I mean, Bears fans are excited. Really, all the teams in this NFC North should be excited for the year. And then September hits, so we'll see.
Let's get into it. Deep dive, real life, NFC North. We'll start with the Bears. Caleb, Ben Johnson. Let's look at the additions and losses from this offseason. So they add Olamide Zacchaeus. He came over from the Commanders. They add Drew Dahlman, Joe Tooney. They fix up their offensive line a little bit. They lose a little bit of their offensive line. What do you got? We just talked a lot about the Bears. Let's get right into their schedule. Their over-under on the season is at 8.5. What do you see out of the Bears this year?
Yeah, I think 8.5, like a 500 team, I think is perfect. You're seeing a team that, in general, is considered to be on the rise. There's not a lot of reasons to really hate this team. I think you have a young quarterback that you're hoping makes the leap a little bit. We've gone out. We've put some pieces around him. We've tried to boost the offensive line. We've tried to boost the defense here. In the draft, we went out and got him even more playmakers. And then we went out and got probably the best young mind on the market as our coach. So, this is a team with a lot of positivity. And then you stick them in probably the toughest division in the NFL, arguably. So, I think 8.5 is about right. I think with the schedule, I think it is doable. But, man, they do kind of throw them, into the fire a little bit, giving them lines early in the season. And I think we're going to find out what kind of team this definitely after that they get a bit of a break, but we're going to find out a lot about what this Bears team is made of week 2, I think.
I think they gave them a break week 5, just giving them that bye early, letting them get readjusted to whatever fixes they need to make after the first 4 weeks. They have some tough games in here. I'll read them through at away. At the Ravens, at the Bengals, at the Eagles, at the Packers, at the 49ers, all in the second half of the season. I have them losing all 4 of those games and going 8-9, so about going 500. If they can sneak out one of those tough games on the road, that's where we start getting into 9-8, 10-7 territory. So they're going to have to figure out a way to win one of these really hard road games in order to make their playoff push. But yeah, I think they have a lot of winnable games that can get them to 500 on the season.
I think that middle part of the schedule is softer, and that's where they really have to get on a roll. The Bears are going to have to get on a roll there because that finishing stretch, in your last 5 games, you have the Packers twice, the 49ers, and the Lions. So that finishing stretch is brutal, but if you can get a nice momentum going into that, this is definitely a team that could hit double-digit wins, riding some momentum.
Let's move over into the Lions. The big story here, down 8 coaches. Big names, obviously, the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator going to the Jets and the Bears. Mm-hmm. Other than that, they did gain some defensive depth. DJ Reed at cornerback, Barnes at linebacker, Anthony Pittman at linebacker, just a bunch of linebacker depth. I think they were struggling with the defense last year, and this is something they want to hit home on in the offseason.
Yeah, definitely. Just the overall health of this defense was just a disaster last year. Obviously, the offense, how efficient they were, how many points they put up, the run game, everything was really hyped up last year. But a lot of that was kind of predicated on the fact they had to. Their whole defense was hurt, and while they had some guys going in there and playing well, it was new faces every week, and that was hard to keep up with. I think this is a team that probably, I think, improves defensively just on the fact there's no way they'll be that unlucky injury wise this year. Um, but I do think the offense maybe regresses a little bit. You lose Ben Johnson. Honestly, probably the biggest thing for that offense last year was how good that offensive line was. You lose a Kevin Zeitler to the Titans in free agency. You got Ragno retiring after a long career. So this offensive line is going to see a little bit of turnover, and I would probably expect a little bit of a step back. But even if the offense steps back a bit, if the defense improves, it could just end up being a net neutral. This is still going to be a very good football team.
So their offensive coordinator this year is John Morton. He was promoted internally. Their defensive coordinator is Kelvin Shepard. He was promoted internally. I think to start the season, it's gonna go fine. I got them going 4-3 for their first 7 weeks at the bye. Remember how a couple of years ago, when Shane Steichen left the Eagles and went to the Colts, like the longer Steichen went away from the Eagles, the worse their offense got.
Yeah, a little bit was that. A little bit.
I
Who
kind
was
of see that
the?
happening with the Lions, where
No,
the
who was
longer
the?
the longer Ben Johnson stays away from the Lions, the worse this offense is going to get. So 4-3 at the bye, week 7. After the bye, I got them going 4-6 post bye to finish at 8-9. I
The
just
problem was they hired Brian Johnson. That's who it was. The OC after he left. I was never a fan of that guy. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I get your point. I think I think I would trust the culture a little bit within the Lions. I would trust a little bit what Dan Campbell's done. I don't think you'll see like crazy fall off, crazy changes from one year to another, but I could be wrong there.
well, I mean, I was looking at the Super Bowl odds today, and the Lions have the 5th best Super Bowl odds. And you know how many Super Bowl appearances they have?
None.
None, exactly. So I feel like we're really living in the past 2 years of the Lions, and we're like, they're just really good. It's like, no, like the Lions, the franchise, like everything has been a crappy franchise for as long as I can remember. Ben Johnson just left. I just don't think that the Lions are gonna withhold success like they've had the past couple of years. I don't get the Super Bowl odds. 10.5 is their over under. I got them going 8-9. That's a pretty easy under for me. Tough division. I mean, I don't see it
The
happening.
the schedule is very much brutal. I think yes, the Lions have been bad for a very long time, but they haven't had Dan Campbell at any point really. Like this is a very different culture. This is a very different Detroit Lions than any Lions team I've ever seen in my lifetime. So
Let's get to the Packers. Quiet off season, very quiet off season. I feel like this is like the next step year. Like if the Packers won the Super Bowl this year, would you be surprised mightily?
yes,
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I wouldn't be. They have the
yes,
sixth.
I would.
They have the sixth best Super Bowl odds, just below the Lions. In the offseason, they got Aaron Banks, guard, Nate Hobbs, cornerback, drafted Matthew Golden, wide receiver out of Texas. They lose Jair Alexander, lose Darnell Savage. This team did not change a whole lot to me in the offseason. What do you think about the Packers?
Yeah, I definitely agree that it's been a quiet offseason, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing.
Nope.
I am a little bit concerned with like the wide receiver injuries already starting because this has been a bit of an issue for them in the past. But I, I think this is a good football team that they've added some small pieces to. Like if you can hit on a wide receiver one, like that's kind of one of the knocks people have been saying. Like, yeah, you have a lot of decent wide receivers, you don't have a great wide receiver. That can definitely open things up for the offense. If you look at like the Jordan Love splits when Christian Watson's on the field versus not, like having that deep threat to open up the field has really done wonders for him. So I think that kind of is part of what they're going for there. Again, like I'm not saying this is a bad football team, but I would be surprised if they won the Super Bowl because they have probably the toughest route of any team in my opinion. They're in a brutal division. They have to get through that division, but because you're getting through that, you're probably taking a few losses, which means you're probably going to have to go on the road to the Eagles or something like that in the playoffs as well. Like, and then once you do that, you got to go beat whoever's coming out of the AFC, which, probably like Chiefs or Ravens, something like that. Like, none of that is going to be easy. It's a very hard road. This is a good football team, but this is a playoff team in my opinion. But the road is going to be brutal.
That's a very fair point. It's a very fair analysis. I have him getting 11 wins, but like you said, getting if the playoffs aren't running through Lambeau, like they're going to have a very tough road to get there. I definitely agree with that analysis. Let's get to the last team in this division, the Vikings. To me, this is one of the biggest teams in the NFL with just question marks all over it. You got J.J. McCarthy, year one. You got Justin Jefferson, top wide receiver in the league. A little bit of a hamstring thing. You got Jordan Addison, who's suspended for his first 3 games. They're coming off a great season, but this is effectively J.J. McCarthy's rookie year, and that scares me a lot.
Yeah, this is a good football team, but I agree. This is like one of the teams that I probably would not touch that bet at all. Like, that's a bet that could make you silly. Like, I could see the Vikings winning 5 games this year, and you're just like, yeah, J.J. McCarthy was terrible. Like, nothing worked. But I could also be like, oh yeah, like Sam Darnold wasn't that good, but like Kevin O'Connell made it work, and J.J. McCarthy goes in, it's just fine, and there's no issues, and they win like 12, 13 games again. Like, I could really see either one. Like, I trust the coaching staff here, but like there is definitely a lot of unknowns, and a lot of it is strictly coming out of that quarterback spot.
Yeah, coming out of the quarterback spot, their schedule here is tough. Their bye week is week 6. After their bye, listen to this. They got Eagles at home, and then they go at Chargers, at Lions, and then Ravens at home. That's a brutal stretch. That's 4 losses right there. They
have two Europe games before that bye week. They play in Dublin and in London right before their bye week. The schedule is not kind.
I do believe that the Vikings are a good football team, and I got them going 6-11, finishing 4th in this division. And I think we're just going to be like, that's a really good 6-win football team. You know what I mean? Like, you got J.J. McCarthy, who's going to be coming on stronger towards the end of the year, my guess. The actual lineup throughout the roster is solid. You don't have any questions at coaches. Like, and I just think, like, with the teams that they're playing, the schedule they got, you got a rookie quarterback. It's just, J.J. McCarthy going to Lambeau Field. That's tough. J.J. McCarthy going to Seattle. Like, these are all rookie games for him. Like, it's going to be tough for the Vikings to, their over-under is 8.5. I think it's going to be really tough for them to get to that over number.
Yeah, I think the defense is going to have to stand up for them a lot. This is one of those situations, like, if you have a rookie quarterback, you're trying to help him, like, having a good defense, having a good run game can help. And I think Aaron Jones is still a good football player, but I don't think anybody's really sitting here saying this is like a great run game. Probably, this is Justin Jefferson, this is T.J. Hawkinson, this is Jordan Addison, minus 3 games. So like this is kind of a pass heavy offense, this is a pass first offense, and yeah, it's a rookie quarterback. It's if you can get him in a rhythm, I think things can go well. But like you're saying, like going to a Seattle, it's tough to get in a rhythm in a place like that.
All right, let's move over into fantasy. We're going to slip back to the Bears for a second here. Taking a look at Bears fantasy players. I'm high on DJ Moore this year. I've seen Ben Johnson with Amon-Ra, and I'm hoping that he can bring some of that magic to DJ Moore. I got him going at the number 5 wide receiver, which is just crazy value if you can get him, I don't know, in a, maybe 3rd, 4th round in your draft.
You have him as 5th overall wide receiver?
I do, yeah, putting up 280 fantasy points. Yeah, I have him having a great year.
I think one of the biggest things people have tried to do with this Bears offense is try and like piece together like which players match up to the Lions players to slot them in. I don't think that'll work perfectly because I don't think that, I don't think it's perfect 1-to-1. Like, you don't have a Jahmyr Gibbs on this roster. Like, you don't have like certain pieces like Amon-Ra. Nobody is quite like that, but I do think DJ Moore is a little closer to Amon-Ra than people realize. DJ Moore has a little bit of that yards after catch ability. He's got kind of thicker body. He even when he started with the Panthers, he was a returner as well. Like, he's kind of got some of that to his game. I think you can move him all over the field. So yeah, I do think this is a great spot for DJ Moore. That's not to say I don't like other guys in this offense as well. I would probably like to have a few more Bears players than I do currently in fantasy. But I'll definitely be paying attention to this team first 2-3 weeks because I think there could be opportunity on waivers for some guys in this offense.
I think Loveland is. I just want to mention the tight end situation here. People know the name Cole Kmet. Like I do not think that he's going to be catching a ton of passes this year. I got Cole Kmet way down there at tight end 32, while I have the rookie Loveland at number 11. And I think they showed that in the preseason a little bit, how they're going to use him, how they're going to use the offense. Again, we're trying to compare the Bears to previous Lions years, and I'm looking up like Sam Laporta, like rookie tight end numbers, and it's like, okay, they bring Loveland in. Can he hit those rookie tight end numbers? It's just an interesting way to look at fantasy. Let's move over to the Lions. Speaking of them, you really want a piece of this offense. Like, I mean, there's pieces everywhere, from quarterback to literally any piece of this offense is pretty okay to take. They're going to use it at some point. What do you see here?
I think the biggest question mark is, what do we see in the running back room split wise? Like with Ben Johnson, we saw a very close to a 50-50 split with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. They do a little bit different things, obviously, but I mean, first drive of the game, like Jahmyr Gibbs is like, oh yeah, he's top 5 running back. Like he would not play a snap on the first drive of the game. David Montgomery would get every snap first drive of the game. Gibbs would get every snap the second drive. Like that's just kind of how they would roll. Like there was literally a game last year where the Gibbs didn't get a touch until the second quarter because like the first drive took a while. Like that's just how it went. Like, do we see Gibbs in more early in the game now? Like how does that kind of break down? Because Montgomery's kind of going later again. Like there could be value there if he's still kind of what people are saying.
I've also heard that Gibbs is taking a lot of reps
in slot
too. So I mean, my value on Gibbs is up, and then I'm like, well, if he's doing that, and then Montgomery's in the backfield, like my value on Montgomery's like not too bad either. With all of these players, Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams, Laporta, the running backs, if they're getting numbers, then Goff has also got to get numbers. So like I personally didn't like Goff at the beginning of the season doing my rankings out, and you convinced me otherwise a little bit. I started creeping him up. I have him finishing at the 16th. Quarterback, still not starting in 12-man leagues, but right there.
I do think Goff's numbers probably dropped maybe a little bit off of last year, just because I don't think they're necessarily going to have to score as much as they did last year. But yeah, I think Goff is especially situationally, very, very good pick.
I've been hot on this guy all year.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I've been hot on this guy all year. One of the sleepers of the draft. I think a lot of people are starting to catch on. Jameson Williams. He is one of those later mid-round wide receivers who has upside potential. His route tree does not affect Amon-Ra's route tree. Like they run different.
They do different things, yeah.
Yeah, so Jameson Williams does have the ability to take up a decent percent of target share in this offense, and I got him going at the number 24 wide receiver in fantasy, which is like a great flex option on any given week. Definitely a startable player in fantasy this year.
Yeah, Jamo's been a bit boom or bust, but I do think you see a little bit more consistency maybe this year out of him. Just from what the reports are out of camp, everybody's raving about him. I would not be surprised if he takes yet another step forward this year as a wide receiver.
Packers fantasy. This one's a bit weird. Like we said, we love this team, but sometimes when you love the team, it's just a nightmare for fantasy. They play a style of football where you just don't know which player to take, who's going to have a good week. The quarterback doesn't do a lot of running around. That's why I'm very high on Josh Jacobs, and I grabbed him very early in one of my leagues. He had 16 touchdowns last year. I think it's got to continue again this year. I'm looking through the lineup, and I'm just like, they're going to win games. They're going to be ahead. They're going to be scoring touchdowns. I don't know if it's going to be the wide receivers. I don't know if it's going to be Tucker Kraft, but I definitely know it's going to be Josh Jacobs. He's going in like later second round in drafts. Like I grabbed him at the end of a first round. It might sound crazy. I grabbed him at the end of a first round in one of my drafts just because I'm so confident on him producing touchdowns throughout the entire season.
Yeah, they went out, got some offensive line help too. I think it's realistically, barring like injury or something, I think it's a very safe pick. This is an offense that we expect to be good. This is a team that's going to score a lot of touchdowns. You don't know who the wide receivers are going to be that are getting it. I think Tucker Kraft will get his a little bit, but yeah, there's going to be a lot of rushing touchdown availability in this offense, and that's all going to go to Josh Jacobs.
Vikings, last team in this division through the fantasy. Pieces everywhere. It's just tough to tell. So Jordan Addison, 3-game suspension. I handicapped that. I took that out. I have him finishing now with 165 fantasy points. Wide receiver number 49. It could be a little low, but Those three games scare me. And if you put those 3 games back in, he probably hops into the wide receiver 20 range. But it just is. It is what it is. What do you like on this Vikings offense?
Yeah, it's another one of those things where it's like it's tough to kind of handicap the wide receivers because you don't know what kind of quarterback you're going to get with JJ McCarthy. I think like a Justin Jefferson or even a Jordan Addison, I think it's worth like at value taking a shot on them just because Kevin O'Connell offense. Like I don't hate that. Um, I'll be interested to see again what this running back split is. I don't have much of Aaron Jones. I have taken a little bit of Jordan Mason this year. Um, Again, first few weeks, kind of see how this comes out. I think Jordan Mason, uh, if Aaron Jones is out, is probably pretty viable. But with both of these guys in, like I would assume teams are gonna start with somewhat stacking the box against this team before until you see what JJ McCarthy can do. So I'm not sold on how this running game is gonna look, but I don't know. Aaron Jones getting up in there in age, I don't think Jordan Mason's a bad option to grab.
Aaron Jones is on a 2-year, $20 million deal, so they do have plans on
They
using
paid him,
him.
yeah.
I would definitely take Aaron Jones
Hmm.
in a, whatever third, fourth round, whatever that is, fifth round. I have him finishing at RB 17, and he's currently at ADP number 27. So I do find value in Aaron Jones. The one thing is like if they're losing a lot of games, if their drives are being stalled out, if they're not scoring, I can see his value dropping a little bit.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that concerns. JJ McCarthy is just the biggest question mark. Like if
Yeah.
he's fine and they have like
The-
Sam Darnold level
yeah.
numbers, then like this could all be good. But it's very hard to trust JJ McCarthy right
The
now.
nice thing with Aaron Jones, though, he does give you a decent pass catching option, which if JJ is struggling a little bit, they may, work in some easier passes, some screen passes, stuff like that. So I do think there is actually some decent passing volume opportunity with Aaron Jones, maybe more so than a Jordan Mason. So
Let's get over into our last division. You've probably been waiting a while for this one, the NFC South. Well, we're going to start. Your team is in there. The Panthers. We'll get to them. We're going to start with the Falcons. Michael Penix Jr. first full year. That's the big storyline here. In the offseason, they added some defensive help. Defensive end Leonard Floyd, linebacker Diablo, cornerback Mike Ford. They add some rookies, edge rusher. In the draft, linebacker Jalen Walker in the draft. So they really focused on adding some defensive pieces to this team. They feel pretty comfortable with what they have on the offensive side. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we talked about this last year, like how much of an issue Atlanta had because they couldn't get a pass rush. And this even goes back to last year's draft, how shocked we were that they didn't take, I believe it was like Dallas Turner or something like that.
Yeah,
like,
Dallas Turner was the Vikings, I think, instead
right.
of the Falcons.
Like how shocked we were they didn't address that. And then halfway through the year, we're sitting there talking like, yeah, the Falcons have 8 sacks in like 8 games. It's like they're by far the worst in the NFL at that. Like, so they clearly addressed that this year. They went and got that. I really think Jalen Walker was maybe one of the best picks in the first round. The fact he fell to them all the way, I think it was at 15, which I thought the Panthers were going to take him at 8, and then trading back into the first round again. I mean, if either of those guys end up being, game breakers for them on that side, I mean, this probably goes from being, a team we're not so sold on to a team that is probably like looking at a favorite to be maybe a playoff team. Like I think if this defense makes that jump, especially pass rush wise, I would not be surprised if they just flat out beat out the Buccaneers because I do think Penix in this offense was operating decently last year, but I don't think they were close to their ceiling. I think Bijan was solid last year, but I think he has another level he can take his game to. And then Penix just another year of, being in the system.
This was announced about an hour ago. Right tackle Caleb McGarry season out.
That is going to hurt for sure.
That is definitely a problem.
Yeah, I did see that, and that's going to affect the run game for sure. Another thing to note, that's your right tackle. Penix is a lefty, so that's essentially like your left tackle for a righty quarterback, protecting the blind side. That's definitely a big loss there. I still think this offense will function. I think the biggest thing for them is going to be the defense. Like, what kind of jump do we see from this defense this year?
I couldn't agree more. Vegas has their over/under at 7.5. I actually have them finishing at 6-11. Yeah, I don't see the Falcons having this great year like you do. I still see them struggling on defense. I do think
I'm
they're
not saying
off.
they're going to have a great year.
Oh,
I'm saying if the defense steps up, if they do end up having, like, if these young rookies end up being great pass rushers for them, I think that adds an element to their defense that could, jump up. Like, if they jump up and end up winning like 10 games because their defense steps up, like, that probably wins the division.
we
I'm not
talked
saying they're
about
going to
this
be a great
last
team,
week, how the
but
NFC South drew the NFC West. So I
yeah,
think some of these numbers are going to be a bit skewed as where maybe the Falcons could win 7 or 8 games. I have them winning 6 because they do play some tough teams in this schedule.
yeah.
Let's get over to your hometown team, the Carolina Panthers. Bryce fully loaded. What do you got here? I mean, it seems like he's finally got some help. So let's figure out if this guy's the quarterback for us or not, right?
Yeah, I mean, Bryce looked good at the back half of last year. Panthers were terrible last year, but they also won like 3 games in overtime last year, so it could have been even worse than what it actually was. Um, I think whenever you go into an offseason having set the record for the worst defense in the history of the NFL, I think there's an expectation you go out and get some defensive help, and they did that. I think they missed. I think the Panthers missed on a few guys they wanted, but they got a lot of defensive line help, which will be good.
They
Obviously,
spend they
getting
spend
Derek
some
Brown
money back
back
there.
healthy will
Yeah.
be by far that's going to be more important than any signing the Panthers made anyway. I mean, that is pretty much your run defense fixed right there. Derek Brown getting back in the game. Um, but no, I think it was good to see the defense get addressed in free agency and then going out and getting Bryce one more weapon in the first round. I mean, there was a clear effort to draft and pick up free agency, like to fill holes, to fix needs that we had. I think you look at like pass rush was kind of a need. We missed on maybe one or two of our top guys in free agency. Sure enough, second and third pick of the draft, that's pass rushers. There's one more guy we at wide receiver we kind of needed. Didn't really get much out of free agency. That's your first round pick. Like I think Dan Morgan did a good job of trying to patch holes with players. I think it's just going to come down to, are these guys any good?
Yeah, I agree. They have a late bye. Week 14 is their bye
Mm-hmm.
week. They're over under at 6.5. I got them winning the last game of the season at the Buccaneers to get to 7-10. I think the Buccaneers are going to have so many wins by that point that they're resting players that week. So I think they're going to get an easy win in that last week to bump them over that 6.5. What do you see the Panthers doing on wins this year?
Yeah, I'm very much biased. I do think the Panthers go over. Uh, the schedule's
Playoffs
not
or
the
just
schedule's not
over?
that bad. Like, I'm not that biased. I'm not going to sit here and tell you all that like Panthers are making the playoffs, but I look. I think there's answers offensively to like a lot of issues. Like, I think the run game will be good. This offensive line is essentially the same offensive line as last year, and they were a pretty good offensive line, especially the run game. Really solid. You have Chuba back. But the one thing Chuba is terrible at is pass catching. He's like not a good third down back at all. They bring in Rico Dowdle, who, for all the Cowboys issues last year, I thought Rico Dowdle was a pretty good player for them. He can come in on third downs. He can catch the ball. He can make some things happen. Like, I think that there are answers to what the issues were last year. I'm not saying there are answers good enough to, take this team to the Super Bowl, like win a playoff game. But I think this is going to be a competitive football team. Like, ideally not giving up 40 a game to a lot of the teams we're playing. And I think the Panthers will win enough games somewhat ugly. And yeah, I think that this is like an 8-9 football team.
Yeah, like we said, over under 6.5. I got them 7-10. You got them a little bit more. I do think they hit that over 6.5. It feels like they do have pieces that they plugged in, and they do have answers, and they are moving in the right direction. All right, you said this earlier. There's 31 teams with Super Bowl hopes, and then there's this team, the Saints. Vegas has their over under at 5.5. It's minus 165, which means it's basically already 4.5, and that sounds way too high. Their storyline for the year. Well, I saw there's today they announced they're starting Spencer Rattler over their second round pick, Tyler Shugg. So that already confirms to me they booted on the year, and they're looking at Arch Manning next year potentially. I mean, I don't.
I mean, Saints fans would love nothing more than to get another Manning.
Let me tell you, this is bad. I have the Saints winning one game this year. I have them going 1-16. It's hard to go 1-16 in the NFL.
Which game do you have them winning? Just out of curiosity.
At the Dolphins in week, like, I don't know, whatever it is,
Okay.
14, 15, 13.
Yeah, because I
whatever
noticed
that is.
they have all the lines out for the season, and I saw that the Panthers are still favored at the Saints. That's how bad they are. The
Yeah,
Panthers are
no,
favored when you're the home team.
I have Panthers taking 2 off of them. So
Yeah.
they're going 1-16. So here is why they are going 1-16. They're in a very unique situation. They are in a situation where at the end of the season, they're playing a bunch of bad teams. And those bad teams need wins to get into some momentum for the offseason, to, keep coaching jobs, that type of stuff. They also are having a very tough schedule. They drew the NFC West. So you combine the NFC West with a unique situation where they're playing some bad teams at the end of the season. Combine that with $88 million in dead cap money. This is the official definition of kicking the can down the road. Well, the road is here. This is where we're at. We're at 1-16, and we're hoping Arch Manning comes to New Orleans next year. You kick the can down the road far enough, and eventually the can stops rolling. This is it. $88 million cap, 1-16, tough schedule. It's not looking good for the Saints. Is there anything you want to say on them?
No, not really. As a Panthers fan, I'm glad they're in my division. That's about it.
And next year, the dead cap money is not much better. So
No.
2027 is when the Saints fans can start, hoping for something good.
Watching football again.
I hope that Kellen Moore has the longest leash in the NFL. I hope they're like, dude, you can lose as many games as you want. Like, it's going to be a struggle there. All right.
At least LSU might be decent for all those Saints fans.
Even then, if they lose the first game of the season this weekend, oh boy. All right. Buccaneers. This is one of my sleeper teams in the NFL this year. Last team we're going over. I got them in the Super Bowl bubble. I know they're in the NFC. There's a lot of tough teams here, but they are the 4-time NFC South defending champs, looking for a 5th year in a row. In the offseason, they added Hassan Reddick, linebacker. One of my biggest concerns for this team, though, is Tristan Wirfs. He's going to be out for a little bit. That's the left tackle. I think they should be getting him back. Hopefully, like week 4, week 5, week 6. We'll see.
Yeah, it'll be a ramp-up period.
I think their schedule is pretty light to start. I think they'll be okay. I have them having a great season. Their bye week is week 9. I have them going 7-1 through the first 8 weeks. 7-1 going into the bye. After the bye, I have them doing just as good. I have them finishing at 13-4 on the season, and that's with booting the last game of the season because they need to rest some players. I got the Bucks taking the NFC South handily at 13-4. I got the Bucks going 13-4, the Panthers going 7-10 in second. That is a 6-game gap between first and second in this division. I don't think there is a competition between the Bucks and any other teams in this division right now. I think it's generous. They get a free 2 wins off the Saints. And I think Baker has one of his best years ever in the NFL. I think I'm a little high on the Bucks for you. What do you see?
Who do you have winning the NFC? Record wise.
I got the Commanders and the Bucks both at 13-4. So I would have to see how it breaks out.
Okay, but you have the Buccaneers losing to the Panthers last week of the season. If they're 13-3, why would they be resting their starters if they're in first place?
That is a good point. I didn't think that one.
That's a great point.
That's a great
anyway,
point. Oh man,
you're
13
you're crushing it.
So we're looking at either 13 or 13 or 14 wins. If they're not resting there, then
dang it. So
then
now the Panthers are
taking...
6. Oh, so now we're going under. Goodness. Come on.
That is a good point. I forgot. I do have the Commanders up there at 13-4. Thank you for that.
That is unfortunate. Anyway, I do agree. I think this is a decent football team. I don't have them at winning 13 games. I think the schedule's a little bit tougher, than what I expected, considering they're in the NFC South and get to beat up on a lot of people. They do have, they got Eagles, they got at the Lions. They do have to play Patriots, Bills. I think those will be some tricky games. So
that's where I have their losses coming in. They have some tough away losses, and I have them losing all of them. At the Seahawks, loss. At the Bills, loss. At the Rams, loss. They're tough ones at home. Eagles at home, I have them winning. Mm-hmm. Patriots at home, I have them winning. The games where they should lose, I have them losing, and that's a
I
13-4 result.
I think our difference, and this is based on seeing how your reaction was during the fantasy draft, but I think we have a slight difference in take on Baker Mayfield a little bit. I think we see a little bit of regression this year. I think Mike Evans is still very good. Chris Godwin's working back from injury. They got Aguka that they drafted, but I do think without Liam Cohen, you do see a little bit of a step back. I think this run game will still be solid. You have a Bucky Irving, who's a very solid option there, but I do think this offense takes a little bit of a step back from what we saw last year, especially in Baker's production.
Yeah, so Liam Cohen left. He is now with the Jaguars. This year we have Josh Grizzard. Who is he? He was the passing game coordinator internally for the Bucs. So I expect the passing game to be just the same. And then in the backfield, I get Bucky and Rashad. No problems for me. Tampa Bay 13-4. Heard it here first. All right, let's get into fantasy. We'll move back to the Falcons. There are a lot of good pieces. Potentially the best piece in all of fantasy is on this team. Bijan Robinson. I got him at the number one running back. Do you have him as the number one running back this year?
I do.
Yeah. Rest of this roster is pretty good. I like pieces of Drake London. I like Michael Penix Jr. I think he is a great value quarterback in fantasy this year. Currently, he's going at ADP number 26. I have him finishing at QB number 9 on the year, and that's just because I believe in Atlanta Falcons offense that much. I think they're going to be losing a lot of games. I think they're going to put up a lot of points. They have Bijan, Algier, London, Pitts if he gets him the ball. I think this is an offense that can put up a ton of points and Penix can thrive in, even if he's not running around.
I do think volume-wise, Penix will have a lot of volume this year. I don't know if I'm putting him up as far as a top 10 quarterback, but I do think very much situationally, I think it'll be super startable. Kirk Cousins on one leg was pretty startable at times last year, even when he was playing like crap, just because of how this offense functions. So, yeah, I'm not really going to push back a ton there.
And then Kyle Pitts. People like to make fun of him because of how much of a bust he's been. I got him in one of my leagues in the 12th round, and I see tight end 15 potential out of him. So, everyone's like, yeah, stay away from Kyle Pitts. He's a bust. But if you can get him in round 12, 13, 14, like whatever, if you can get him super late in your draft with upside potential of good weeks, grab him. Just don't do it anywhere early in your draft. Let's get over into the Panthers fantasy. Why don't you take us on this one?
Yeah, I think the Panthers have nobody worth taking high, but I do think that there's some opportunity for like depth that you can grab for bye week stuff like that. I think kind of the biggest two names would be Chuba Hubbard and the rookie T-Mac. I think both are very startable. Chuba maybe more so in like non-PPR or half PPR. I think with Rico Dowdle coming in, you're not going to really see as much passing game work for Chuba because he can't catch very well at all. Actually, it's kind of hard to watch. But yeah, he'll score touchdowns. He's a pretty efficient runner. This offensive line works. Ideally, this is a team that you were hoping would be like leading in more games because he could be a little bit game script dependent. But I think T-Mac's definitely worth going and getting because if Bryce throws 30 times a game, like Thielen probably will get some and other guys will get some. But I think it's realistic that he's getting 7-8 balls a game. So yeah, you're going to get something out of that. I think the ceiling is definitely there. He could end up kind of being almost like a Mike Evans type. Rare combination of that size, that kind of speed, jump ball ability, definitely red zone ability. So yeah, I'm worth throwing a few dart throws on some Panthers players. There's not a ton of sleeper, past those two guys.
I think maybe a couple of weeks ago you could have, if your draft was really early, you could have got T-Mac in maybe some middle rounds, but from what I've seen, everyone's pretty much adjusted to that. T-Mac is going to be a top receiver. He's going at ADP wide receiver.
I think a lot of people, I don't know. He looked decent in the preseason games, but it was nothing too crazy. He had one really, really good catch in the first one. And he got
think it was just very
bit,
evident how they're going to use him and that the offense is going to run through him. So I don't think no one's sleeping on him this season coming in as a rookie. The tight ends here, Tommy Tremble and Jatavion Sanders.
Undraftable, in my opinion. Tight end it doesn't really get used much in the offense. I think wide receiver wise, T-Mac and super deep leagues, I think Thielen's fine. I love Jalen Coker as a player. I just don't know if there's going to be enough volume there. If there's like an injury, I think he's a guy you can go get because he just catches the football. He's a good football player. But there's really not like a ton in this offense that I'm willing to go out and like get. I mean, it's the Carolina Panthers. Like, what do you expect?
New Orleans Saints. This is the bleakest fantasy section that I've done on all 32 teams. So next to quarterback, I have X. Next to tight ends, X. That leaves us with Alvin Kamara and Chris Olave. So Alvin Kamara, he's a great running back. I have him going running back 13. I have him having a good season. The issue is if the Saints offense is just pushing out 3 and outs and they're not staying on the field, that's less attempts for Kamara. And then they get down in games. They throw the ball a lot. It's just, I'm worried about the attempt value for Kamara. Olave, I'm starting to feel bad for this guy. I'm starting to feel like some team needs to get him and just like Matt Stafford him and bring them in and get this guy like a Super Bowl because like he's getting thrown medicine balls from absolute nobody and he's about to go on like his 5th or 6th concussion. He might be a good wide receiver, but I have him going at wide receiver.
We will never know.
Yeah. I have him going at wide receiver 48, getting 168 fantasy points. It's just, I know nothing about how much he's going to play, how much he's going to get the ball. It's really tough. It's tough to watch.
Yeah. I honestly, like, it's hard to even say, but I honestly would have rather see Tyler Shuck win the quarterback battle than Rattler. I think like the only appeal in this run or in this offense is Kamara, because they're losing every game, getting somewhere between 8 to 10 dump offs in a PPR league, and quite like literally just like having like 7 catches for 48 yards, and it's just like he will never score less than like 11 or 12 points in a week simply because of that. And if he somehow falls in the end zone every like a week, he'd have like 20 points, and that's like, well, that's pretty good, like RB2.
No,
like that
exactly,
is quite literally the appeal in the offense, which kind of sucks.
So yeah, there's Kamara, and then honestly with Olave, I wouldn't even risk it. So that's about it. Let's move over into the last NFL team for fantasy we are talking about. We've been doing this for weeks. The Tampa Bay Bucks. If you're playing in any fantasy leagues, please grab a piece of this team somewhere. Like this offense is going to be pumping. Baker, I'm telling you, I'm putting money on him for MVP this year. I'm getting 28-1 right now. I don't even think Baker has to like be the best Baker of himself. Like he just has so many weapons everywhere. He's got Bucky and Rashad in the back. Mike Evans, if Ibuka is as good as everyone says that they've got him. Cade Otton's there. Once Chris Godwin comes back, I don't know how people are going to stop this offense. Baker's going to throw for 7,500 yards and 60 touchdowns.
I'm upset because I didn't have any Bucky Irving last year, and I basically will have no opportunity to have him this year either. And it's really bothering me because that is probably one of my favorite options in all of fantasy this year. I think he's going to be awesome. He was awesome last year. He's being kept most likely in one of my main leagues, and just the way drafts have fallen, like I just have not been able to get him. So that's pretty much my biggest disappointment here. I think Mike Evans is a great pick. Godwin, if he keeps falling because people are worried about the injury, don't mind you grabbing him late. And Ibuka, he is rising because Godwin is falling. Like they kind of just work inversely. I'm cool taking him too. I think like you're saying, having a piece of this offense is not bad. I'm a little lower on Baker than you are, but like if he's there and it's at value, like yeah, I got no problem. I think he's gonna be throwing the ball a ton.
I got Baker at the number 5 fantasy quarterback. I got Lamar, Josh, Burrow, Jaden, and then right below Jaden, I got Baker. That's right. I have Baker putting up more fantasy points this year than Jalen Hurts. I said it. I'm high on Baker this year, man. They got me sipping that Wandell Kool-Aid and that Baker Mayfield Kool-Aid. I got Bucky early in a draft. I grabbed him in one of my drafts early in the second round, and one of the guys in our fantasy group who lives in Tampa who was wearing a Bucky Irving's jersey during that draft was not thrilled that I picked him up that early. But
I can imagine.
That's what happens. All right, that was our deep dive for NFL and fantasy. We have gone over the AFC, we have gone over the NFC, all 32 teams. We have our survivor pool. When does the season start? It's like almost
It was like 10 days out, maybe.
10 days out. So that's when
All
the
right.
survival pool will kick off. Got some spaces left in it. Go to
I
the
guess
screenplay.
less.
Yeah. Go
It's
to
like
the
8 days
screenplay.
out.
8 days? Is that close?
When this drops, it'll be 8 days because
Yeah.
it'll be next Thursday.
TheScreenplayPodcast.com. $0 entry fee, 500 cash to the winner. NFL Survivor Pool. You pick one team a week until you get eliminated. Going to be a lot of fun. We had our first guest this on, Jason at _MICKJASON NFL content creator. We appreciate him coming on today. Next week, big guest, awesome guest coming, Brian Rolap. He is the CEO of the PGA Tour. He, before this, was with the NFL for over 20 years and was responsible for the NFL Network. He held positions such as Director of Finance and Strategy, CEO of the NFL Network, Chief Media Officer, and helped build deals on streaming platforms and grow the game. Our episode will be one day later. We're going to release it on Thursday, the first day of the season, Thursday, 8 a.m. It's getting pushed back one day, but that's all right. You're going to listen to this podcast in the morning, and then in that night, you're going to get the first NFL game of the season, Cowboys at Eagles. We're getting so close. Fantasy drafts are happening. We're almost there. How about that? Yeah. What do you got to say, Andrew?
Yeah. Man, I cannot wait. A lot of fantasy drafts going on this week. Good luck to y'all in those. Hope you get everybody you want. Go Panthers.
Go Panthers. When are you playing next? Your season ended. What?
Yeah, it is gonna be a while. I don't know exactly. I guess when this drops, it'll be about after the Ryder Cup announcement or close to it. But I did not make that team. I don't think anybody's surprised by that. So, yeah, I will not be playing golf for at least probably maybe a couple months. Well, I mean, I'll be playing golf, but not tournaments.
We'll update the schedule on the website when we find out. Unfortunate on the Ryder Cup, but a great PGA Tour season considering where you started and where you finished the season. I sent y'all a text this week, like the NFL did their top 100 players. Daniil Hunter is player number 25 on the NFL top 100, and you finished 25th in the Tour Championship. So I consider that like you're just the Daniil Hunter of the PGA Tour.
I'm still waiting for 15 to drop because technically on the points I finished 15th.
All right, so we'll check that out next week when they drop 15 and. As of right now,
I better get somebody good, like Bryce Young or something like that.
That'd be hype. Bryce Young is definitely not there.
I don't think they've announced him yet. He's definitely probably a top 15 player.
If he hasn't been announced and they've done 80
that
through 100.
That means he's in the top 15.
We'll see. All right, we appreciate y'all listening. Don't forget to check us out on socials at @screenplay_podcast. Get on YouTube, like, subscribe at @screenplay_podcast. New episodes weekly, 8 a.m. Next week with our Brian Rolap guest. We are going to be pushing our podcast one day to that Thursday, but that is just a one-time thing. We appreciate y'all listening, and we will see y'all next week.
Peace.